What is truth and how do we come to know it? This question has echoed through the ages. From the ancient Greek philosophers to the modern-day thinkers. Among the many philosophical movements that have emerged to grapple with this question, one particularly influential one is logical positivism. Emerging in the early 20th century, logical positivism sought to establish a scientific basis for philosophy. The movement held that meaningful statements must be either empirically verifiable or analytic, meaning true by definition. This led to a focus on the examination of language and the establishment of the verification principle, which stated that a statement is meaningful only if it can be empirically verified. The Vienna Circle, a group of philosophers and scientists, was the birthplace of logical positivism. Among its key contributors was Moritz Schlick, considered a foundational figure of the movement. Rudolf Carnap made significant strides in logical syntax, the philosophy of science, and the development of formal systems of logic, playing a vital role in shaping the core principles of logical positivism. Otto Neurath, another leading member of the Vienna Circle, primarily contributed to the philosophy of science and the unity of science, furthering the development of logical positivism. British philosopher A.J. Ayer, a pivotal role in popularizing logical positivism beyond the German-speaking world. His book, Language, Truth, and Logic, outlined many of the movement's central tenets and brought them to an English-speaking audience. Alfred Ayer, despite the similarity in name, was a distinct figure who also made significant contributions to logical positivism, particularly in logic, semantics, and the philosophy of language. Hans Hahn, another early member of the Vienna Circle, contributed to the philosophy of mathematics, adding another dimension to the development of logical positivism. These individuals, among others, played crucial roles in shaping logical positivism, a movement that heralded scientific knowledge as the only valid form of knowledge. This perspective rejected metaphysical or speculative claims that could not be empirically verified. In summary, logical positivism, born in the early 20th century, sought to ground philosophy in scientific principles. Key contributors including Moritz Schlick, Rudolf Carnap, Otto Neurath, A.J. Ayer, and Hans Hahn, shaped its development and promotion. The movement asserted that a statement is meaningful only if it can be empirically verified. This approach deemed scientific knowledge to be superior, dismissing metaphysical or speculative claims. So the next time you find yourself the nature of truth and knowledge, remember the logical positivists and their rigorous scientific approach to these age-old questions. Voiceover. The reach of logical positivism extends substantially. It created ripples in legal philosophy, primarily with its emphasis on empiricism, logical analysis, and the rejection of metaphysical or speculative claims. Firstly, there's legal positivism, bearing a clear parallel to its logical counterpart. It underscores the necessity of logically consistent, empirically verifiable legal rules. Its purpose mirrors that of logical positivism, grounding truths in empirical evidence and logical reasoning. Secondly, it also shaped analytical jurisprudence by focusing on logical analysis and clarification of language. Taking a leaf from logical positivism's book, analytical jurists dissect legal rules to their logical components. Thirdly, the insistence on empirical verification has changed the course of legal research. Empirical research has become a tool to gauge the effectiveness of legal rules and institutions. Lastly, its skepticism of metaphysical claims has permeated legal reasoning. Legal professionals now look to concrete, observable facts and their legal implications, discarding metaphysical claims for empirical evidence. In conclusion, the logical positivists' emphasis on empiricism, logical analysis, and rejection of metaphysical claims has influenced the legal system in profound yet subtle ways. Therefore, while pondering the logic behind laws and legal processes, remember the contributions of logical positivists. Voiceover. Scandinavian legal realism and logical positivism exist as two unique schools of thought within the realm of legal philosophy. Grounded in concrete facts, they share a joint foundation in empiricism, along with skepticism towards abstract theories in legal reasoning. Their methods, however, differ in terms of conceptual analysis. Logical positivism employs a meticulous dissection and clarification of language, analyzing legal rules akin to philosophical statements by breaking them down to their logical constituents. Conversely, Scandinavian legal realism prioritizes functional analysis of legal concepts and institutions, placing emphasis on their operation in the real world instead of their logical format. The relationship with legal positivism is another area of divergence. Scandinavian legal realism, akin to American legal realism, is often linked with legal pragmatism and a questioning stance towards formal legal reasoning, doubting the predictability of legal outcomes based purely on formal legal rules. Legal positivism, in contrast, aligns closely with logical positivism and adopts a more formalistic methodology, validating legal principles on the basis of social facts such as legislation or judicial decisions, irrespective of the practical outcomes of these rules. To summarize, Scandinavian realism is primarily concerned with the practical implications of legal rules and decisions, while logical positivism stresses on logical analysis and empirical verification. These contrasting standpoints illuminate the diverse range of viewpoints within legal philosophy, each providing a unique lens to refine our understanding of law and jurisprudence. Voiceover. Several areas showcase the influence of logical positivism in legal philosophy. Firstly, the trend in modern legal scholarship towards empirical research and analysis aligns with logical positivism's core principle of verificationism. This empirical approach seeks to ground legal theory in observable facts and evidence, a clear echo of logical positivism's emphasis on empiricism. Secondly, logical positivism's emphasis on logical analysis and clarity of language has shaped contemporary legal theory. In particular, it has informed the approach to conceptual analysis in legal theory, helping to ensure that legal principles are clear, precise, and logically coherent. Thirdly, the skepticism of metaphysical claims characteristic of logical positivism continues to inform debates in legal philosophy. This skepticism challenges legal theorists to substantiate their claims with empirical evidence or logical reasoning, rather than relying on abstract or unverifiable assertions. Lastly, the philosophy of language, a central concern of logical positivism, plays a significant role in legal philosophy. Many legal hinge on the interpretation of language, from the wording of legislation to the interpretation of legal precedents. Logical positivism's focus on the clarification of language has therefore had a lasting impact on these debates. Despite not being as dominant as it once was, logical positivism's influence can still be observed in various aspects of contemporary legal theory. Its legacy serves as a reminder of the need for clarity, precision, and empirical grounding in legal philosophy. Yet some of its principles, such as empiricism and logical analysis, could potentially be mirrored in aspects of legal reasoning and scholarship. The system is primarily based on common law, civil law principles by Hindu law, customary law, and modern statutory law. Significant legal reforms, including the 2015 promulgation of a new constitution, may have introduced new legal theories or perspectives. A comprehensive noting that legal systems worldwide are shaped by various philosophical, cultural, and historical factors, including Nepal. Voiceover. Let's delve into the concerns raised regarding logical positivism in law. There are philosophical, practical, and theoretical issues raised. The first critique is an overemphasis on empiricism. The strict requirement for empirical verification may restrict the range of meaningful legal statements. Legal principles often involve normative or moral considerations that cannot be reduced to empirical facts alone. The second point of contention is a narrow conception of meaning. The verification principle, a cornerstone of this philosophy, has been critiqued for its limited view of meaningfulness. Legal concepts may hold significance beyond empirical verification, such as moral or political implications. A third issue is inadequacy in addressing normativity. Legal positivism, which shares similarities with this philosophy, is criticized for its inability to properly address the normativity of law. Argument is that legal norms cannot be simplified to empirical facts. Fourth, it is seen as incompatible with legal reasoning, which often involves interpretation, argumentation, and evaluation of normative principles. Critics believe that its focus on logical analysis and empirical verification miss the intricacies of legal reasoning. Fifth, it rejects metaphysics, which is often engaged within legal theories to discuss the nature of justice, rights, and obligation. Critics argue that by rejecting metaphysics, it may hinder the development of comprehensive legal theories. Lastly, the issue of cultural and contextual differences is raised. Legal systems vary across cultures, and the principles of this philosophy may not be universally applicable. Critics argue against a one-size-fits-all approach, In conclusion, even though this philosophy has made significant contributions to philosophy and science, its relevance to legal theory is debatable. Critics argue that its strict empiricism and rejection of metaphysics may overlook important aspects of legal reasoning and interpretation.